Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am making a mold, or a project from a mold that I made myself. That's why it looks a little bit janky on the top here. And what it is it is a bowl here. And now these bubbles were intentional. I did that on purpose, so don't worry. You'll just be like, oh my god, she made this janky ass mold. No, it's supposed to look like that. But I made it out of this. And so what I'm going to be doing is making a bowl. Now I have 6 ounces of my Bondcrafter 1:1 epoxy resin. And now this has not been through the bubble machine. And I just mixed it up about maybe 3 minutes ago. So it's already that clear. You know, no big huge bubbles, not a massive, micro bubbles or anything like that. And quite frankly, by the time I get ready to pour it, it'll most likely be almost completely bubble free. So very happy with this resin so far that I've been using it. I love it. Anyway, I digress. So I am going to be using various resin pigments and colors and whatnot. And these are going to be out of my 15 color Let's Resin pigments. And what colors shall we use? Let's do Sapphire Blue. And what I'm going to be doing is just dropping them in to the mold directly. So I'm just going to drill them in. And now the pigment is more, it's stronger pigmented than just regular alcohol inks, right? So next one I'm going to be using is Golden Yellow. It's stronger than regular alcohol ink, so you get a brighter color, if you will, out of it, which I always think is very cool. And then, so I've got blue and I've got yellow. How about we try to find in my box here where my red went off to? That's pink, there's red. So red. So we'll just go with primary colors, because we all know that primary colors turn into secondary colors when mixed together. Alright. So now that we've got those in, it's just been sitting here degassing itself. I'm going to use a tiny torch just to get off some of those little surface bubbles. And that is pretty darn good. So I'm just going to pour it in and let the resin, oh, that looks so cool already. Oh, just let the resin do what it wants with the colors. Oh, and I forgot that this mold takes about 7 ounces, so I am going to have to make up a little bit more. Not a problem. I shall return. Alright, so I've got another ounce here, which should be fine, hopefully. And since I'm not running it through the bubble remover, I'm making sure that I go gently with the resin. And I'm going to stir it for, the appropriate amount of time, which is about 3 minutes. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're pouring 8 ounces or 1 ounce. You still need to stir, to mix it up for the appropriate amount of time. Because streaks are streaks, and if it isn't mixed up correctly at 1 ounce, it's not going to be corrected any ounce, or grams, or however you measure your resin. So I am being careful just to go gently so I don't introduce a lot of bubbles. Although this resin does degas itself absolutely beautifully. Take a look, see how we're doing. Just hold it up to the light, see if I've got any streaks. And I don't see any, which is always a good thing. Yay, no streakies. Alright, so let me just pour this in. And you can already see those colors moving around and mixing with each other and just doing awesome things, which I love the resin pigments. I just think that they're so cool to do the whole, watercolor effect, just letting them do whatever they want to. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see how this turns out, because I've used them in this capacity on a couple of different projects, but resin has a life of its own, it has a mind of its own, and it does pretty much whatever the darn heck it wants to do, whether you want it to do it or not. So I'm always interested to see what patterns and shapes and different magical things it does in the process of curing and moving and just doing really neat things. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cure. I am going to pop a couple of bubbles on top. I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure everything's looking good, and I will see you guys when it's time to demold. See you then. Alright, so it's time. Now I did go ahead and demold it because, quite frankly, it is a pain in the butt to demold. So I didn't want you guys to have to suffer through that, so here it is. And the bubbles are by design. I intentionally put them in the mold so it would look more kind of like the blown glass effect. Let me turn up the brightness here. But you can see all those colors. I do have to clean up the bottom. But how those colors just really mixed together and gave this really awesome effect. I like it a lot. So yeah, what do you think? I like it a lot. I'm very happy with it. I love the bubbles. I think that blown glass effect is really quite cool. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Whoosh. Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Take care, guys. Cheers.